Hey, good morning, Misfits. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. My name is Sean Murphy. I think I recognize all the names. There might be a couple of new names there. Hey, Corinne, good to see you. You were up late last night. Well, maybe not late for your time zone, but you're definitely up early in your time zone. Good morning, my dear. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
everybody.
Sean.
Hey, hey, hey. Good to have you here. It is Thursday. It is episode 574, September 17th. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thankful Thursday. Boy, it seems like we just did Thankful Thursday. Go get a puppy, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Puppies will sleep, they said. I don't know whoever said that. But, so, yeah, that's been a little bit of a fun thing. All that now you know why babies and puppies are cute, right? Or little animals, because they can be quite challenging in the early stages of life. Hey, so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful I remember what sleep is like. So good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day. Uh, did you send out your messages of gratitude, of joy today? Did you send out your I'm thinking of you messages? Your hey, you're important to me kind of conversations? Because uh, I'm having some conversations with people around the globe, and I know that sounds funny, but I have this new contact in Shanghai, and it's interesting. Let me turn that music off the rest of the way. I just heard it. Um, it's interesting perspectives, right? Perspectives, and what you can be thankful for, and how you use your thanks. That's a question for you. How do you use your gratefulness? Wait, what are you talking about? How do you use your gratefulness? Right? If in the secret sauce, if you looked at the workbook, there was a couple of repeats of boxes, and I had somebody last night about midnight message me and go, "Did you plan this?" And it was like, "No, I didn't plan it." But that's that was me being grateful for my being thankful for having somebody in my world that was grateful for me. Right? So how do you use your gratefulness? How do you use the things you're thankful for? How do you use that energy? Yeah, I was a little frustrated. I'm like, ugh, I do my best to get things right because I did the book, right? And some of you probably have recognized that by now with any of the misspellings or anything. But to have somebody reach out to me, I'm grateful for that. And the way I got to use that is I got to be able to fix the error. I got to be able to fix that error. So the new book is up in the back office. And I say that to say, even when we think that it's right, even when we think that what we're doing in our with our attitude is correct, even when we think that what we're doing is we did it the best we could, we thought we did it perfect as is perfect for us. Sometimes our gratitude doesn't show up that way. How many times have we had a conversation with somebody and we said something to them and they said, that's kind of like being a jerk. And you're like, what do you mean? Sometimes they hear it differently. Sometimes, how many times have we thought we said something, right? That phrase, I know you thought you heard what I said, but you didn't hear what I was thinking. What? How many times are we thinking one thing and said another thing? In these acts of gratitude that we do, in these acts of graciousness that we do, this new contact I have in Shanghai, they they're quite a wealthy individual. I say that to say, um, the other day they do the Asian market of exchange, and in one day they made $1 million, and they they were so excited they sent me a copy of of the transaction. I said the copy of the transaction is great. I love to see the $1 million deposited in your account. It's actually 1.2 million. My question is how long have you been doing that? And they've been doing it for years. And I said, so now what? Well, in China, they build roads in places in the mountains. They build roads. They send in crews to go build roads for people that normally they're walking on paths. Sometimes it's just dirt roads. But the point is that the gratitude that this person has is spent in their country, spent on their country, spent with their people. And now trust me, they take care of themselves quite well. I wouldn't say lavishly, but many people might say lavishly. I say all of that to say, but their gratitude is giving back. That's part of their goal, is to create that income. So how do you use your gratitude? The challenge with some actions is that we might not be using one of the greatest resources that we have, and that is the gratitude we have for every moment. In this moment, you have a choice. Sadhguru says, in this moment, you have a choice. Choose misery or choose joy. If you choose joy, that's how you're using your gratitude, even in the most challenging of situations. Right? You have a responsibility, your ability to respond. In this day, in this moment, there's a choice you have. There's something you're facing on this day. The question is, what do you do? How are you going to get through it? Because here's what I do know. Good, bad, or indifferent, happiness or sadness, joy or misery, the time doesn't stop. Time moves in one direction. We think we can go back. We can't. Right? The past can't hurt you unless you decide to live there. We can't go forward. We can't go any more forward than this moment. So in this moment, this is truly all we have, this moment, and this moment, and this moment. How do you raise your state? How do you up your ante? And one of the things in having a conversation is that the same challenges we feel over here on this side of the world, they feel on that side of the world. And everybody has somebody to take care of. And some people are struggling and some are not. And money flows no matter what's happening on the planet. There's people who are, again, becoming wildly wealthy because of what's happening. Money doesn't stay anywhere. It doesn't hang out anywhere. It moves based upon the need of the market. Right? 6 months ago, owning a paper company was a pretty good thing. A paper company that made toilet paper was a pretty good thing. What do you do with your gratitude? Where are you using that energy? What can you do with it? So conversations with a prospect. What could you do? How could you help awaken a prospect on this day? Have you talked about the community that you have that's part of your network marketing business, that community? Have you talked about how you share ideas and concepts, how you have Facebook groups of places where people can come and see inspirational moments, hear about people winning, see that there's a chance for them to win? Is there a place where people can learn from experience, can see people just like them making a better day every day? This process of getting better is going to be probably one of the highest forms of skills being learned by individuals right now. Tom Ziglar, Zig Ziglar's son, says learning how to motivate a remote army, a remote community. How do you stay with them? Right now, having having a list and being able to have people want to be on your list because of what you send, what you share, how you share, who you share it with, the stories you tell. I think that's going to be one of the most valuable lessons that we can learn, is telling the stories, edification, recognition of others. People need to hear good stories right now. Why do you think newscasts always end with the heartfelt story? Most of them do. That, listen, as much as they're programmed, as much as they're for a particular slice of life, whether it be for a particular demographic, a particular political view, a particular, you name it, their only desire is to sell advertising. That's their biggest is to take care of their shareholders. That's their biggest desire, is to take care of their shareholders. And how do they take care of their shareholders? They make profits. How do they make profits? They get eyeballs. That's it. And how do you get eyeballs? All right, I think it's still the number one. What's the number one market on the internet? What's the number one segment? What would you call it? I guess there's a I guess it's a market segment. It was one of the first to the internet, and it's still the biggest on the internet, right? That particular market, nobody really advertises for it, but it's still one of it's the largest market. It's the largest revenue producing, and I've not seen a billboard sign for it, right? How is it that market is so huge? Because there's a demand for it. Pornography. Well, so how is the demand created? It's based upon what it does, how it makes people feel, and fills a need. Well, right now, news is filling a need based upon society. I went to Mason's lacrosse game last night. We had a coaches and a board meeting. I'm on the board of directors for the lacrosse team for the high school. And so we were meeting the new parents, the freshman parents for the high school team. And I listened. It's been a long time since I've been in the car, right? Driving for any particular length. And this was about a 12-minute drive, a 13-minute drive. So I said, you know what, I'm going to put on, had satellite radio in the car. And so I put on CNN. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know if it's because I haven't been listening to the news in a long time, but I could tell there was definitely a slant to the dialogue they had. So, wow. I mean, and there was absolutely nothing good. And if I wanted to learn how to use language to its highest form of, I'll say motivation. I won't use the word manipulation. I'll just say the word motivation, to motivate the audience to a particular side of the stream. And then on the way home, I listened to the counter news, right? Fox News. And I was like, oh my gosh. And people are listening to this. So I say all of that to say, you could really see how it was designed. I remember my dad telling me in Toastmasters. This was when my dad was in his 20s. He was going to Toastmasters, and what they used to do is they would give you a box, and this is in New York, and they would put you out on a street corner. And on the street corner, one guy on that side, one guy on this side, and whoever could get the biggest audience won the contest. Isn't that what we're still doing today? That was live and in person, stopping people walking down the street. You had to learn how to stop the scroll, stop the walk. Nothing's changed. You had to learn how to keep their attention, right? How do you keep them from scrolling again? Nothing has changed. Back from the Bible days when the apostles would go around to different towns and different communities, and they'd travel, and they'd get on the highway to Galilee, or they'd go to here, and it'd be, who knows, 5 months of travel. I don't know how long it was, but it always seemed in the Bible they got there quick. On the way to Galilee, struck down, and who knows, next he's, the head saint. Things seem to happen pretty quick, but we know it didn't. But all this is to say, everybody was trying to stop the walk, stop the scroll. You know how you're going to stop the scroll today? Is gratitude. Is gratitude. Telling the story about how you're thankful for somebody else. How you're grateful for somebody in your life. How you're grateful for a lesson. What's the story you've learned from COVID? What's the lessons a mermaid has learned today? What's the lessons that has allowed them to learn how to stand out to walk out on the shore, to have their legs for the day? Jim Rohn was an absolute blessing to this world. Boy, I think we really need him now. I think Zig Ziglar, blessing to this world. I really think we need him now. I think Gandhi, Mother Teresa. I think these stories of trials and tribulations, I think we need some new storytellers, and I'm looking at them. I'm looking at them on this screen right now. There will be storytellers that come out of this that your success will absolutely explode because of a niche that you take on. Your ability to consistently make people feel better. Finding your voice. There's going to be a reason for people to listen to you. And it's because of something that's totally missing in the world right now. In many places, and that's called gratitude. This idea that I deserve something, I don't know that it's ever changed. But the idea that somebody can feed that through a global platform, instantly communicate and connect with people around the globe, send out messages of gratitude, of joy. How many of you know somebody in your life? How many of you have heard somebody in your life that you said you've heard a story about somebody who used to send out greeting cards? Some people know somebody either in their family or heard a story. Somebody sends out a Christmas letter every year, and it's a 2-page Christmas letter or a 3-page Christmas letter of the things that happened in the past year. We need that. This idea of 15 seconds of fame, this idea that we, on average, research shows the attention span of somebody is about 6.6 seconds. I can tell you, every one of you that's on here, I'm looking at the names and the faces, every one of you on here has the ability to stop the scroll. I remember, now I'm going to date myself. I remember when I used to watch Romper Room. And you'd watch Romper Room, and she'd hold up the mirror, right, that had a hole in it like that, the white mirror, and she would hold up the hole like that, and she'd go, and I see Rhonda, and I see Belinda, and I see Marilyn, and I see so-and-so, and I hope you have a good day. Man, yeah, exactly, Mark. And I would say, I was always hoping to hear my name. I don't know why I'm going to cry. It's probably because I'm tired. I was always hoping to hear my name. And I'm sure she probably said it, but I wasn't watching that day. You know what people are wanting right now? They want to hear their name. They want to hear Avi and Shireen and Eugenia and Ron and Bukumi. They want to hear Gina and Delia and Jasmine and Amanda. They want to hear their name. And it changes their day, right, Delia? Right, Daniela? Right, Richie? Right, Jessica? It changes their name when you hear it. Captain Kangaroo, absolutely. Boy, that brings back memories. Eating Captain Kangaroo, watching Captain Kangaroo eating Captain Crunch. And you're wired for the day. What if every day you had your gratitude list and you did it at a particular time and you were grateful for the people that showed up in your life? Do you think, is there a chance maybe people might show up in your life? Johnny Quest, you're absolutely right. Ultraman, who remembers Ultraman? We're going now we're going to the old school. So, what are these moments? I love that at 12:34, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you decide that the gratitude that you have, listen, you have an unending, you have an unlimited source of gratitude because you have every breath. There's people yesterday. There's families who are in pain today because yesterday was the last breath somebody took in their life. You still have it. You still have it to get. You still have it to take. You still have it to give. There's a transition that's happening right now. Now, we're talking about an earth that's millions of years old. 6 months is nothing. It's a blink of an eye. In the life of humanity, 70 years is a blink of an eye. This 6 months is 7 months, 8 months is a blink of an eye. The next 8 months will be a blink of an eye. The question is, though, where will you be at the end of that blink? Gratitude will change everything. Yeah, but the whole world is crazy. Is yours? Yours doesn't have to be. You have a responsibility to how the world is operating, and that's your ability to respond. Yeah, but that's being myopic. That's being utopic. Well, somebody's going to have to be utopic. Somebody's going to have to live in utopia and in the real world. I'm trying to remember his name. He talks about, it'll come to me in a second. I know the book. He's out of San Antonio. He's gone, passed away, I think, in the late 60s. But he's a metaphysics. And he would talk about, he would take some water out of a glass and draw a line of water on the table. And it's a Spanish name. Gosh, I can see it. I know it. I say it. And he says, we stand on the physical world and we stand in the non-physical world. And when you can stand on both sides of that line at the same time, when you meditate, you go into the non-physical world. When you dream, non-physical world. When you send gratitude through Instagram or messages, non-physical world. You sending good joy through an electronic platform, that's non-physical. When it shows up, it has a physical response for the other human being that receives it. Where are you standing now? Totally in the physical? How do you step into that non-physical? How do you step into that emotional? That's where gratitude is. I'd like a pound of gratitude, please, sliced thin. I can't go to the store and get gratitude. I can show up in gratitude and find gratitude in the store. I can show up on my next live and show up in gratitude and find gratitude in the comments. Are you guys going back on your comments and thanking people for showing up in your comments? Some of you do that extraordinarily well. Some of you never go back and thank anybody for showing up on your comments. Whether it's during the live, whether it's after the live. I promise you, if you want to change your business, if you want to engage your audience, go back and be engaging. If anybody right now in this time is liking your comments, they're a lead. They deserve to be on your list. If anybody's liking your comments, if anybody's engaging with your posts, they deserve to be on your list. They deserve to have more of you. You deserve to ask them to be on your list. And if you're not building your list offline, off social media, you're missing out on the chance to share more gratitude. You're needed right now. Your energy, your desire, your wants, your wishes, it's needed right now. I wake up every day. I grab a cup of coffee, or my bride brings the coffee into me if I've been in here working. But at 6:30, I get to click admit. I go to the waiting room, admit. It's like there's people showing up. It's overwhelming how powerful that anticipation is to see you guys every day, to see some new faces every day. 574 episodes times, just say an average of 30 people. 574 times 30. That's a lot of conversations. It's your turn to start that process. It's your turn to engage in that dialogue, because there's an audience that follows you that'll never show up here. There's a demographic that won't fit into this psychographic. Thanks, Bakumi. So think of this. Some of you have been on the calls with me from the beginning. You've stood in front of 16,200 or 16,020 people. Just from this call, sitting in this chair, I've sat in front of 16,000 people doing a conversation. When you say, well, I don't know where to find people, listen, I promise you right now, it's going to take consistency. With as flash in the pan as society is, and as fast as the scroll goes, you're going to have to show up and be consistent. So I have 41 people on this call every day, 30 people on this call every day. That's double what it was last year. And Tony Robbins does the thing. He says, hey, listen, you want to play for $1 a hole? No, he says, but I'll play you 10 cents double every hole. Well, 10 cents. Yeah, okay. Well, at the end of the 18th hole, you'll be surprised at how much you're playing for, how much money you're playing for on the 18th hole, just doubling a dime. 10, 20, 40, 80, right? You're in the thousands of dollars by the time you get to 18. Well, if I double it every year, so if next year there's 80 people on average on the call, and then 160. Now, it'll be, maybe it might go a little quicker. Who knows? Maybe it might go slower, but that means if I'm 55 and 10 is 65 and another 8 is a lot. But it's okay. Remember, I would go do what you're about to do. Do it for you. December 18th, 2018, December 17th, the day before, when I got so high energy, I was literally shaking when I was doing the live, going, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I have no idea. But I'm going to start at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm going to drop the link in here, and I'm just going to do it. And 15 people showed up. And the number got to 20 and 30 and down to 2. You find your tribe. Your vibe will create your tribe. Right now, the easiest way to find your tribe is to be one of gratitude, is to be one of joy, is to be the one that makes the world a better place. But here's the thing. Don't start thinking what they want. Start thinking, what do you want? So I hope that helped. I hope that shed a light. I hope you got an idea out of that. Is it Lordia? I see you got your hand up. Lordia?
Lordia.
Lord, say it one more time. You broke up at the end.
Lordia.
Lordia. That's what's going to be my next one. Good morning, Lordia. How are you today?
Um, I feel, I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I've been hopping on your calls ever since I was in high school. And I've always wanted to talk, but like I've just been really nervous because I don't know how to put my emotions to words because I
Okay.
usually keep everything in, but it's like lately I feel like I'm going in a downward spiral and I don't
Okay.
know what to do.
All right. So, Lordia, so thank you, first of all, for having the courage to raise your hand. And thank you for leaving it up because it would have been real. How many? There's probably been a couple of times during this that you were going to take your hand down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So thank you for leaving it up. There's something that said I'm gonna. I listen. I don't care how long it takes. Uh, if he sees it, he'll call on me. And then the conversation going through your head was, well, if he doesn't call on me, then I wasn't meant to speak. And so there was all of this conversation up until just before it's now you and I are talking. So I want to thank you for showing up here today. And I'm going to ask everybody else if you could just throw some hearts in the chat for Lordia and Lordia and just congratulate her on just being here today. All right. So that that makes it seem like we've been together for a long time. When you said I've been listening to you since high school, um, thanks for having the tenacity to stay here and hang out. Where do you think you? So where was it that you were? If you're heading in a downward spiral, and I get that, and we're gonna see if we can't adjust that and redirect that energy. Would it be okay if that energy redirected and started sending you in the other direction?
Yes.
Okay. So since this is the first time we've had a conversation, is it okay if I ask you three questions?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of, if you've been around that long, you know it's coming. Do I have your permission to be of service to you, to provide help if it's possible?
Yes.
Okay. Second question is it's kind of going to be real easy to happen, but I promise you I'm not going to leave you there. Is it okay if you get a little uncomfortable so that we can change the direction?
Yes.
Okay. And third question is, can I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling before you and I finish our conversation today?
Yes.
Okay, good. So tell me where you're at in the world. Where do you live?
I live in Florida right now.
Okay. Which part? North, south?
More the north side. And I'm like in the middle.
Okay. So if you're in the middle, I actually lived in the exact center of the state, north, south, east, west, Haines City for many years. Well, that's where our dream home was till it got destroyed by the hurricanes. But I grew up in Lakeland, Florida. I actually lived in Mulberry, Florida, so kind of the center of the state. So,
I'm in Lakeland.
oh, you're kidding? Okay, so, so Imperial Country Club. Are you did North Lakeland, South Lakeland?
I'm on the north side.
Okay, so up by 98, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, funny how this is how we're showing up. So uh, the college is up there, and so they're on 98 on I forget what it was called, Central, no, but Hamburger Alley, where all of the hamburger places are and different things. And anyway, so okay, so Lakeland, Florida. So you're you're not your energy's not where you want it to be. You've been in a better place. That's what I'm hearing you say. Is that what I understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there been a big change that's happened recently that's caused this, or has this been a kind of like an iceberg, just a slow moving thing that's kind of got you to this point, or something recently changed that's kind of out of your control?
It's been like an iceberg, I would say.
Okay. Here's the neat thing. What's in the wake of icebergs, right? If we look at history, we have a lot of people say the Great Lakes. Some people say some of the most beautiful vistas were created by icebergs. But we weren't there when it was rolling boulders the size of small towns and doing all of the what seemed like destruction, the carving out that it was doing. This energy exchange, is it possible that it could be carving out something excuse me, carving out something that no longer needs to be in your world, no longer needs to be in your life. And this change, what it's going to leave behind, is actually this beautiful place for you to step into.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is. It's like it's been getting hard.
Okay. What would have to change? What would be the exchange that would happen if all of a sudden, because there's the law of polarity. In Wallace D. Wattles' books, he talks about the seven universal laws, and one of them is the law of opposites. And where you sit, where you have a conversation, where are you at home right now?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
actually getting ready for work soon.
Okay, no worries. So, um, so you might be in your bedroom, and so there's a front door to your house.
Hmm.
And how far away would you say the front door is from you?
I would say mm, like a couple of feet. It's not that far. I
Okay,
think.
so it's a couple of feet. Now, let me ask. I know this is going to sound funny, but I'm going to ask the front door. If I were to ask the front door how far away Lordia is from the front door, how far would the front door say you are away from it? Couple
Yeah,
of feet, right?
yeah.
The law of opposites says that where you're at right now, in this moment, in this exact moment, this level of frustration, of aggravation, of just ugh in your life, that level from the place where your center used to be, where your level of it's just a good day. It's not a great day. It's not a bad day. It's a good day. If we're here right now and here's your center, do you know what the law of opposites says? That the exact amount of joy exists in the same moment. The exact amount of joy exists in this same moment. Because have you ever been, do you remember a moment, do you remember a time when you were totally excited and like there was nothing could take you down, nothing could bring you down? Do you remember any moment like that?
Yeah, I have some moments like that.
Okay. Can you tell me about it? As
Yeah,
long as it's PG or less.
it's peachy.
Okay, good.
I usually like stay in the house all the time, and we were actually going on a field trip to go and meet animals. So I I've always like loved animals from a distance, not close
Oh,
to me, because I haven't been used to it because I've never had an animal around me. So when I had the first chance to like actually go meet one up close, I just took it, even though I know I was like gonna be really scared. And when I did do it, like I was so happy. Like I could, like nobody could have messed up my day that day because like I was just ready for it. And when I actually got to meet them, I accidentally like threw the food because I was just so scared when they approached
so
me.
I love it. Do you remember what kind of animal it was?
It
Or was
was
it?
a goat. I love goats. I love them now because I'm used to them now.
So
But
why are you used to goats?
because my school we had a farm, so I decided like if I was gonna meet the animals during the summer, I might as well just take the farm class to get used to them because I really love goats. I was just really scared to be around them, and I took the step of actually doing that. And when I did it, I was so happy. Like even like on my sad days, like if I got to be around animals, I just felt better. Like I felt comforted because especially like I felt like they knew how I was feeling. So they
Mm-hmm.
purposely messed with me to put me in a state of joy because
Anybody
that
have an
day,
animal like that at home?
because when
Cat.
I first met the mom goat, she was the one that was actually more nice to me. I just didn't realize in the beginning. Because in the beginning I was like I said, like I was really scared, but I really wanted to meet the goats and I was like really going through something and I was actually like crying before I went. So when I had raised my hand to volunteer to feed them, it was a mom goat. She looked at me and then she tilted her head and then she started playfully like looking like she was gonna nudge me. So I freaked out thinking she's trying to hurt me. So I threw the food at somebody. I don't know who I threw it at. I just said catch and I threw it. And then she still went up to me. And then she was just like rubbing her head on me. And
Aw.
then we just end up building a bond until I just left school because of the coronavirus. It got cut like right on the day she was getting sick. So it's like I felt like I needed her and she knew I needed her.
Aw.
And she was always the one to like be nice.
You're absolutely right. Animals have this instinct. And Jessica goes, I want to meet this. I want to meet this goat. Listen, Lydia, you've now made this goat famous. And here's the other thing.
Hey, big sis. Okay.
You changed your state. You telling that story to us. This is exactly how I started this call, and you've blessed me with the perfect example of telling us a story, and it changed. How many of you right now, the next time you see a goat, you're going to think about food getting thrown at it, right? You're gonna laugh. You're gonna go. It reminds me of, I was on this call this morning, this global call, and this young woman from Lakeland, Florida, got on, and she talked about a day when she was happy with animals, and nobody, I promise you, nobody was planning on you saying a goat. Not one person on here. I bet my annual paycheck, nobody was going to go. She's going to say a goat. I know she's going to say a goat. Everybody's favorite animal is a goat.
It was a whole bunch of animals, but me and the goats were on a different bond. The cows, they just like to mess with me.
Yeah.
They loved me, but they were purposely trying to like bully me for food. They were just really mean.
Well, yeah, they nudge you. But yeah, the goats are just, goats have a huge personality. And the little ones are just absolutely nuts with what they can jump on, and their ability wanting to, but that nudging, that is a way of connecting. That is a way of being the one that they connect with. It's contact, right? It's contact. So how long ago was that, Lordia? If you had to guess, is it just from February, March time zone?
Yeah, because that's when like that was like the last unexpected day of school
Okay.
where we thought we were just gonna go on spring break and it just
And then yeah, that's, I remember Mason going on spring break, and then they extended it, and
and they're like, you're not coming back.
yeah, yeah. See ya. Um, so here's a question. Um, I know there's I'm trying to think of where it's at, because I know we'd go get animals from dogs from there. I know there's not a goat humane society, but have you ever thought about going to the Animal Humane Society? I'm trying to think where it's at. I know there's a couple of different ones there in Lakeland, just to go see animals.
No, but I've been thinking about it. I just never actually went because
Listen. I'd call them up, grab a mask, call them up, and just see if, just to walk through there. You need that energy. You and that energy is what your body's searching for right now. The other thing is that I know it's probably not the same, but and I know this is going to sound really weird. This is your 50 years of mentorship, 30 countries I've stood on and spoken, and 40 languages I've been translated into, 3 #1 Amazon bestsellers, and I'm going to give you this advice. Have you gone onto the internet and watched funny goat videos?
I do.
Yes, it works. All of that training, all of that thousands of hours, I guessed it right. Go watch goat videos.
I have it's on Facebook. I forgot their name, but it's an animal sanctuary.
I'm a Sanctuary, where he talks about
yes, yes, I love it because I love
you realize,
the goat.
and he's a hoot. Him and his bald head and Texas accent,
I love
right?
all the animals.
And he talks about the littles.
Yes, I love the littles.
Do you realize? Listen, my love. Do you realize how more connected we are than you're going? This is weird. And that's a place that I donate to $3 a month or whatever it is, because I love big Tex, right? And his dad's bull, right? That was the most recent videos.
Yes,
Yes,
the way
right?
it was hilarious, especially when he started having a tantrum.
Exactly, and the young kids trying to take the 4-wheeler and run him down. He's like, "Please don't do that. Don't hurt yourself."
Yeah.
And how about when they had to go get the pool floaties and they had to put it on the horns? So
that was hilarious. Pig Trudy, she's like my favorite animal though. She's so obnoxious. Like, she purposely messes with everyone. I love Pig Trudy.
Pig Trudy, yes. And so here's my question to you. How are you feeling right now?
I feel really happy just thinking about it.
And how did we get happy? We're talking about Pig Trudy, and we're talking about Big Tex, and we're talking about goats, and you throwing food at goats.
It was one of the most memorable things. I was terrified that day, but I will never forget it, and I'll never change it because it was really funny. I will always be grateful for her. And she had babies. And when she had her babies, she would push her babies to me to the point where me and the baby started to bond too. So it was not only was I bonding from her, is if I was sad because she started getting sick a little bit, she would push the babies towards me to make me feel better. And it's just like, I don't have that anymore. So, and I was thinking about like maybe getting like an emotional support dog. I don't know, because I've never dealt with animals before, but when I went out my comfort zone to do it, I felt a lot better. And I always tell my mom, like, I'm going to buy a whole bunch of land and it's going to be filled with goats and chickens and horses. Cause I just noticed like when I'm around animals, I feel more calm and I feel more relaxed and I feel happy.
So I'm going to encourage you to go to the Humane Society, to go to the Large Animal Humane Society. See if you can volunteer. You need that connection. You triggered something in your soul, and you've opened up a portal that now isn't getting filled, and you haven't shut it. You haven't showed up on this call going, yeah, I tried that goat thing once. I threw some food at it, but yeah, it was a fun day, but I remember it. But there is a pulling there. There's a yearning there. And I would encourage you to make some phone calls, go on the internet. There's plenty of places there. You just go over towards Plant City. I'm sure you'll find people who are needing some hands. There's some older people. There's no doubt older people who can't take care of their animals, who would love to be able to keep them, but they can't do it. And they might love to have somebody like you to drive the 13 miles or 12 miles or 8 miles over to Plant City to go do something. Listen, come on. Lydia, you and I are having a conversation this morning. We grew up in the same area, right? Mm-hmm. How long? So can you tell me, I'm not allowed to ask women how old they are, but how old are you?
I'm 19. I just turned 19 in July.
And have you always lived there in Lakeland?
No, I moved to Lakeland when I was 6.
Okay.
Around 6 or 7. I was originally born in New Jersey, but when I did the move, it was like a very traumatic move for me because a lot of things happened where I was always in a constant state of sadness, and I really got depressed at a young age. And I've always been depressed, but I noticed I wouldn't feel that way if I was like around animals. Even though I was scared, I noticed like I found joy being around them,
Well,
if
and,
anything.
and to think that Pig Trudy is one of your heroines, Pig Trudy. My point is that here we are. You've been following me, paying attention, and being a part of this community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for showing up today and having a dialogue with me to find out you and I are closer than you ever thought possible, right? We watch the same places. We watch the same shows. We're connected at a whole nother level. I'm going to encourage you to not be sad one more day, is to go and make some phone calls so that you can get around animals there. There's plenty of places. They're needing help. They're needing support. They're needing volunteers. Even if you just go walk through the Humane Society and just listen to the puppies and hear the dogs. But I know there's got to be a large animal sanctuary.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna look it up.
Go look it up, because here's what I know. The animals need you just as much as you need them. There's a connection you have there. This little girl from Jersey who winds up in Lakeland, Florida, and watches I Am Sanctuary and Pig Trudy and Tex and Big Tex and has a conversation with somebody. I mean, I'm watching everybody shake their head going, how does Sean do this? Somebody could call in from Slovenia and he'll talk about the hamburger stand down by the ice rink. And it's like, how does he know all of this stuff? Well, it's because law of attraction puts people in my life who we're the same. We're psychographic, not a demographic. So I want you to think about that moment again. I want you to do something for me. I want you to remember you walking up to that goat with the food, and they come kind of trotting at you, and you couldn't tell whether it was a trot or a run. It may have looked like a stampede towards you, and you threw the food. And I want you to remember, if you were observing that, what you saw. And I want you to think the laughter that you're feeling right now. I want you to just think about it for a second. I just want to hear your laughter again about it.
You know, like, even though that was like my first interaction with her, I knew I was gonna love the class.
So
my teacher laughed at me, and she was just like, "You're gonna love these animals so much," and I'm like, "I think you're right." But at that moment, I was just like, I don't know if this goat is trying to bully me for food or love on me. But either way it goes, I'm just going to find a way for me to be their friend and not their enemy.
So,
and then we had bunnies. We had bunnies too. We had very there's like this really fluffy bunny that I wanted to hold, but I was so scared to hold. So every day my teacher would just like slowly push me towards the bunny until I finally hold it. And it was so fluffy. It was gray and they didn't shave it. So I loved it unshaved because like I could not see the eyes. And it was just a fluffy, but it was like the fluffiest bunny I've ever seen. And when I would hold it, they taught me how to hold it. I got scared a little bit because it would move. So when it moved, I'm like, "Are you trying to fight me? Because I'll let you win. You could have it. I don't want to fight you." But it was really nice to me. The other bunny next to it, that bunny did not like me, even though I think it was because it made me overfeed it, because my teacher would make me the person to go feed the goats and all the animals to try to get me used to them and comfortable with them. So when I would go feed, all the rabbits would be fine. But there's just this one bunny, it would stand up and it would look like it was trying to make a fist towards me. So I would just drop a whole bunch of food. And after I do that, it'll go eat and it'll look at me like, "You better." And I'm like, "Okay, you have it." But I got along with all the animals. And I had one day decided I want to go pet a cow. Some of the kids were like, "Well, it was a cattle. It was small." I think it was fairly new. But I wanted to see if like I could go touch it. I didn't realize other kids were messing with the cattle. So I think that's what triggered her. So when I went to go and pet her, I took people with me because I'm like, if something happens, something is going to happen to all of us. Like, I'm not going to let it just be me. So when I went to go pet it, it threw its head down and it looked like it was about to charge. So I hopped on the fence. I was about to climb over the fence. I've never climbed a fence before, but that day was the day I was going to climb it. And I turned back and it's just looking at me. It didn't even move. It just like threw its head up and it's just looking at me. And then it came up. It didn't even come next to me. It just like gave me a nod and turned away. But like at that moment, even though I was terrified, I want to do it again because they really be messing with me on purpose. But it's really funny because it's like when I think about it, it's like you've never jumped the gate and now you're about to climb this gate. How are you supposed to do that?
It's Wonder Woman. Leap tall gates in a single bound.
I was about to go leave it, and my teacher, she just started laughing.
So how many of you right now, because of Lourdes, have a picture of a bunny with a fist?
See, only 2 people saw the bunny threw the fist at me, and they're just like, he's trying to get
Listen,
food.
Nobody saw the bunny throw a fist at you. You're the only one that saw the bunny throw a fist.
2 people saw it, and they're like, oh my God.
They're afraid of you. That's why they agreed. They're going, she's nuts. Just say yes. Just say yes. You saw the. He waved.
I would always try to explain what happened. And they're like, no, that bunny wouldn't never do that. No, this bunny looked like it was on steroids. It was mean and it bullied me for food because I always had the food. And it's not like I took a little bit of time with it. No, I'll just be quick with it and I throw the food and it'll look at me. And if I don't put an extra scoop in, it's like, what are you doing? So I'll just put the extra scoop in.
I gotta
like,
turn
you
the
got
fan
it.
on. I'm sweating. I'm laughing.
No, and then the 2 people who did saw it, they're just like, yeah, he's just trying to rob you out of some food. But everybody else wouldn't believe me. And I'm like, listen, I know what I saw. This bunny, it probably likes me, but it sure know what to do to get extra food from me. Everybody else is fine. But no, that bunny,
If you had to give that bunny a voice, would it have been like a voice from the hood? Where was this bunny from?
Yes. It was like a steroid bunny. I think I have a picture. I'll post it on my Instagram because I have all the pictures of me holding the baby goats and the bunny, except the brown one. Telling you that bunny was something else. It knew what it was doing.
Oh my gosh.
So, and now that I think about it, it might be a rabbit. I just don't know the difference. I just always call them bunnies.
So, well, maybe that's why you just offended him because you called him the wrong race. Who knows?
He was big and mean.
So hang on. I want you to hear something, Lourdes. You started off this call. You weren't in the best of spirits, and you telling your story, you having the courage to have a conversation with me. I'm gonna ask you to look at the chat. You can read the chat, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I want everybody who's had a better day because this soul came on and started telling her story. Anybody who's had a better day, type some connection, type a thank you in there for Lourdes, because I want you to hear what you did. You thought that we were here for you, and we are. We all are. I am. But what you did for us today is more than I could have ever done. I need you to hear that. I need your young soul to hear that, your wisdom, because your wisdom spoke today. What you did for us changed everybody's state. You changed people's state around the world today, my love. I want you to hear that. I want your spirit to hear that. Yeah, I can't stop smiling either, Steph. I'm like going, the bunny threw up a fist at me. I want you to hear.
The bunny was acting entitled. I agree with you, Jared. That bunny was very entitled. me.
I think
It
we have a
was
new guest
me.
host. We're, when we want to have a cover. And now we're going to go back to Lakeland, Florida. Ludia is going to tell us a little bit about her animal experience. Everybody, hang on, buckle in, buckle up, and here we go. Oh,
I'll
you.
post. I'll post all the animal videos I have on my story. But yeah, those animals were just something different. But they did bring joy to me. But some of them are just hungry, mean bunnies. Oh, there it go right here. I found the video. I'm gonna post it on my story.
Who'd have thunk
Tell
it?
you, the bunny was me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time on this call, wait a minute. Somebody told me this was a world class mentor who's traveled the globe and spoken and gets paid 15 grand an hour. Listen, you can't beat a bunny throwing a fist up story. You just can't beat it, and you can't beat a goat wanting to chase you down. This is what the world needs right
It
now.
was me.
Until you realize that you and her had a connection. Here's my point. What you did today is exactly what the world needs. It needs to hear that funny story. I'm glad we got to hear it. I'm glad we're one of the first ones who got to hear that story. I'm glad it brought you out of that state that you were in. You were away from tears. Now, here's the funny thing is that when you stop telling that story, that other part of the story that you showed up with is going to rush back in. I'd think of the funny goat story. I'd think of you telling that story to me. I think of how crazy it is that a guy 55 years old in Dallas, Texas, drove on the same streets I did. Probably have eaten
really
at some of the same restaurants if they're still open, right? Is Jimbo's Barbecue still open?
I think so, but they're really closing like a lot of things down and
Yes.
replacing it.
So
Because it's
have you?
not the first Lakeland. Yes,
Yeah,
it
no.
is, Jessica. But
Yeah.
when I first moved here, it's way different now, and a
Yes. Oh,
lot
no
more
doubt.
people too.
Yes. And so you know, up on 27, right? The Villages.
Yeah.
You know what the Villages is famous for, right?
Mhm.
So, for those of you that don't know, the Villages is a senior center, senior community, and its claim to
Mhm.
fame. This is back when I was living there. It, y'all ready for this? This is a 55 and over community, about 20 miles from Disney. 55 and older community. It had the highest. It was known for having the highest cases of STDs.
Yeah. Because they still talk about
They
it.
still talk about it, don't they? Yeah, it's just it's get your groove on, get your walker and head on out downtown to the so so so
Lakeland is different.
yes.
It's just
I
different.
blame the
I don't know how
bunny.
to describe it. I would blame the bunny too.
So here's the good news. Lordia, thank you for showing up today. Thank you for
Thank
making my
you.
world better. I hope we brought some smiles to you and realize that when you told your story and shared your story, it released something from you.
It
I
does.
it sounds like remember question number 3, is it okay if I take you out of that take you out of that uncomfortable place?
Yes.
Well, I have to give credit to the goat and the bunny.
I'm tagging you in them right now.
Okay, awesome. I'm getting tagged in a mean bunny story. This is my first in all of my years. This is my first, so thank you for letting me have a number one moment again.
It's
How
the
you?
last bunny. It's gonna be it's like a brownish bunny or a
Oh,
rabbit.
trust
I
me.
don't know the
If
difference.
it's anything as you describe it, I'll recognize it.
It's big compared to everything else. It's big, and it's a bully for food. And it's like you're already big. You don't need any more food. Leave me alone.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, when you started the call with me, when we started our conversation, what number would you have said you were at? 10 being the happiest you've been, and 1 being kind of the saddest you've been. Where do you think you were at?
When I started this call, it was at a 1 because I was crying.
Yes, we
And
heard
I
that in
was,
your
and I
voice.
would raise my hand all the time, but I would put it right back down. And I was actually on the phone with my friend AJ, and I was like, I was so tempted to put my hand down, but I was just like, you would know it, like, no, I need the help. And I've been listening to you. Ever since you were on Mornings with Nano, I
Right.
just hopped on your calls, and your calls are the only calls I can make, but I never miss your calls. If I
Aw.
can hop on your call, I'm hopping on your call. If I can hop on your IG live, I'm hopping on it, because I just like how honest and authentic you are, where too many people, where they get big headed when they get into uh when they start having a name for themselves, they start getting big headed, and you just stay leveled down. But I never realized I would have the connection of, oh, I live in Lakeland, Florida, to be like, oh my gosh, Sean did too.
Yeah, if you ever find Banana Lake, and then there's uh I lived on a lake off of Banana Lake, off of 540A, Grand Boulevard, 4955 Grand Boulevard. There's a little lake right there there's a little house right there on the corner of that lake. It's an old phosphate pit, but that used to be my house. That's where my bride moved in, and I realized I had no more drawers left in my in my bathroom. I'm like, wait a minute, everything in my closet, I have like one little spot, and that's how I knew my bride Michelle. This is 22 years ago. Was probably going to be hanging around with me for a while. So, but yeah, 4955 Grand Boulevard is where I used to live.
I don't think I know exactly where that's at, but I used to live, because I moved recently, but I used to stay at Banana Road. It was like empty, but kind of
Yes.
not. But see, Lakeland is not even getting empty anymore. It's just getting too crowded. But
Yep.
before,
All of the
it
citrus is
was
gone and all of that
very
stuff.
country. And you know what? Now that I think about it, the goat story, that was not my first time. The first ever time I met a goat is when my mom went to go buy some fresh goats from a processor, because we're Haitian, so if she can find an all
Gigi,
natural organic.
you know Gigi, right? Have you met Gigi
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I heard Gigi's story.
Yeah.
I love Gigi. I've heard everybody's story. I just been in the shadow.
Well, we're glad you stepped out today.
I'm glad I did too, because I really had a blast. But thank you so much.
It's my honor. I mean that sincerely, because you did as much for us. You did more for us because you were one person influencing 40, and our energy of 40. I got to feel the energy of 40 from a soul of one. So you changed. Listen, I know you consider yourself young and youthful, but you left a mark on many of us for a very long time by
Thank
telling
you.
your story today. So you listen, if you ever doubt, what am I doing, or can I make an impact, or do I have anything to give? Listen, all you have to do is type in the chat, I thought of the bunny throwing up the fist, and we'll all just start dying laughing again. I promise you.
Everybody does when I tell them a bunny, because they don't believe me, but that's a big bunny. It knew. It knew.
I can't wait to go watch the video. So how you feeling now on a scale of 1 to 10? How you feeling now?
I feel so excited to go to work and just go through my day now that I think about all the stories. Like, those animals really purposely did that to me. They did it on purpose. They knew exactly what they were doing.
They did. They know. They're a gift from heaven, so they knew what to do, and they knew that it was going to be 8 months later, 7 months later, that you needed to tell the story, and as if it was the first day, you got back into that state. So if you were to give yourself a number on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel now?
11.
So here's what I want you to remember, my love. You went from a 1 to an 11. You did it. It was your story. I'm good at asking questions. That's probably my gift to the world. I'm probably the best. Because I doubt anybody else would have got you to tell the bunny and the goat story. That's my gift, is to help you find your secret sauce And right now, your secret sauce is a happy bunny and a mean bunny saying, "Yo, put more food in the bowl," and
That's
and it goes,
exactly what it is.
"Yo, Lord Dia, get over here." Right? The bunny's Italian. I don't know if there's Italian
It,
bunnies,
it,
but
it probably was because when I came with the food, that's when it stood up like it was ready. And I was not going to fight it. I was just going to let it win. You can have all the food. I'm not going to fight you. Have it. Here. Food come. There you go. I don't want no problem.
so here you go. Enjoy your day at work. I look forward to connecting with you again tomorrow. Thank you for all you do for us. Thank you for what you did for us today, and thank you for having the courage to keep your hand up. I want you to hear that.
Thank you, Sean, so
It
much.
made my day. I love you tons. I can't wait till one day to give you a hug and take a photo with you, both of our fists up, going, "This is for the bunny."
Definitely. I need that picture.
Okay. I love you, my dear. Thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Misfit family. I have to hop off.
Okay.
Get ready.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. RBP, give us a wrap on that. Go ahead, wrap up the bunny story.
I know that was fantastic. The one thing I could, and I hope she doesn't jump off real quick. The one thing I could tell you is I've got a girlfriend who has a son that he struggles with a little bit of depression. And ever since he started learning to read, and I think he's now 12, but for the past 4 or 5 years, she would take him to the Humane Society and he would take his books and they would allow him to sit in the different cages with the different dogs, or they would put him in one big cage and they would let the different dogs come in and out, and they would allow him to read his books to the dogs because the dogs wouldn't make fun of him when he read and he stumbled over words. Wow. And it gave the dogs these moments to have human interaction with the little kid. And it gave this kid a chance to grow confidence in his reading and enjoy just a peaceful moment where no one was expecting anything other than love from the other. And what you're doing for those animals, Lordia, is exactly that. And I would encourage you, whenever you do find your place to volunteer, pick out a book or two and read a book to the animals, because these dogs and cats absolutely loved when Josiah would end up in their, cage or their pen or whatever you want to call it. And they just, I don't know, they catapulted him into a level of confidence that only animals can. And animals are super special. I had one myself, and that's a whole nother month of calls for what my dog did for me. But who would have thought we could get a leadership mastermind from a bunny story? And the way that she's scared of the cow and it puts its head down and she jumps on the fence. All these things, I'm over here listening going, this is how we treat people sometimes. And it's exactly the way we respond is what we get out of it. And it's totally not even intended by the person and how they're acting. We just got this huge leadership mastermind. I love animals. So to me, that was like the most intriguing, fun mastermind I've ever sat through because of all the animal stories. And how many of us are going to walk through the day today and someone's going to pop off and be like, yeah, he's like that freaking bunny. Stinking bunny. And we're going to be able to see people as the bunny. We're going to see people as the bunny with the fist. And then we're going to be able to see some of the fluffy bunnies. And then
You're
we're going to see
fluffy!
I know, that's what I said. I was over here going, oh, he's so fluffy. So I don't know, these calls are so fun. And if you go back to the very beginning when Sean first started visiting with Lordia, he gave her a place to find comfort. And upon finding that comfort, look at where she took us. I can't get the smile off my face. Like I keep seeing like the new Peter Rabbit. I don't know if y'all seen the new Peter Rabbit movie. I got an 8-year-old. So I just keep seeing the bunny and he's got his hands on his hips and he's like, and because of her comfort, she took us on this beautiful journey in the story that made us all laugh. And I was watching Les Brown yesterday. And Les Brown keeps saying, and I kept saying it to myself in the shower, you you have a story to tell that only someone can hear from you and your voice. And if anybody else would have tried to tell us the Thug Bunny story, it wouldn't have come out the same as it did from Lordia. And it's the same thing with my story and with your story and each one of us. Someone's waiting to hear your story. And this is exactly what God knew I needed. And he knew I needed it from a funny bunny or, you know, a crazy cow or the mama goat that was just looking for someone to love on her and love on her babies the way she loves them. So I'm so thankful. I'm actually going to my sister's today, and she's got goats and cows and dogs. So I'm going to be looking at them totally differently, and I'm going to be wondering, you know, what they're saying to each other, and if anyone's going to try to stand me up and, you know, rob me of some food. I don't know. It's just going to be quite hilarious. And it all comes from a place of comfort that Sean provided. And that's my daughter, y'all. Thank you to her. And let me take that off. And then Lordia opening up and letting us earn her trust to hear her story. So I'm in gratitude. I'm so thankful. And Lordia, you're proof that if you have a heartbeat, you have a purpose. And she showed up and she showed us her purpose today. And it looked a little messy when she got started. And that was proof that she existed. And boy, did she show up. So I'm going to challenge each one of us, myself included. Can we go do the same thing today in our own voice and bring the smiles and the funnies and the laughs to all of the people we're around? We'll see. I love y'all. I'm going as soon as this call's over, and I'm going to jump on Lordia's story because I got to see the Thug Bunny. So I don't know about all y'all, but let's go check it out. I love y'all. Have a great day.
Here's what I know.
Call me what you wanna, I'll be
After the Thug Bunny, life will never be the same. After the funny goat, dripping food, life will never be the same. We've got one person to thank for that today, and that's Lordia. I'm your head misfit, along with Lordia, our new guest host in the animal stories. I'll see y'all where?
The next bit. Louise, I need to see you dance. Louise.
At the next farm show.
Come on.
The Kumi! I love y'all. What an amazing morning. You just never know. Louise is right. You just never know. You got to show up. Y'all have a blessed day. I can't get the bunny story. Ah, the food!
Give me the food.
Give me the food. All right, I love y'all. Go have a bunny-filled day.
I love you, Louise.
Love y'all.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.
Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Bye, y'all.